Hello, everyone. Welcome to Theory Thursday. Today, we are going to talk about triglycerides, what they are, why they're important, and each level of triglycerides and where we need to fall within that level. Okay, so what are triglycerides? Triglycerides is a type of fat molecule found in our bloodstream. Triglycerides, it's like a glyceride with three fatty acid chains, okay? And they're like packaged inside of lipoproteins, and they travel through the bloodstream. So what happens is it delivers proteins to the cells to use for energy. And if the cells don't need energy, then the triglycerides are sent to the fat cells and they're stored there until energy is needed. Kind of like in between meals. To get high triglycerides is consuming more than what your body needs, and so it's all stored as fat cells. So, why is this important? Do we need triglycerides? Well, of course we do. But high levels of triglycerides in the bloodstream can lead to issues such as coronary artery disease, stroke, things that will affect the heart and the arteries. What happens is plaque builds up in the arteries, and so there's a restriction. The blood flow cannot pump accordingly, throughout your body, throughout your heart. So high levels can also cause pancreatitis, which can also cause hormone and enzyme disruption. How do you know what your levels of triglycerides are? A simple blood test done from your doctor can tell you what your levels are, whether they're good or bad. There is a level scale that they go by to see if your levels are bad or if they're not. So I wrote that down, and we'll go over them real quick. So in a trig test, if your milligrams per deciliter is 150 and below, then it's considered as normal. If they are 151 to 199, you're like a borderline high. Okay? From 200 to 499, it's considered high. 500 and above is very high. So your risk of heart attack, stroke, and things like that obviously goes up the more the numbers go up beyond 150 milliliters or milligrams per deciliter. So, why are we talking about triglycerides today? Well, because I got a call yesterday, and I was on my way in, and I got a call. They left a message and told me to call them back. They needed to speak to me about some lab results. Now, you guys know as well as I do, they don't never call you unless there's an issue. So I was like, okay. I called right back. I mean, I'm not even 2 minutes. So the doctor's office, they have, I guess, an after hours line. And they had already turned it on. So I reached somebody else. And I told them I was returning a call to the person. And they had only called like 2 minutes before. Well, my office does not have a line that they can return it back to. So once it's turned on, you can't call into that office. It goes to the after hours nurse or whatever it is. And I was told I would have to wait till today. So you could imagine I was very curious of why they needed to speak to me so quickly over my lab results. So I had to wait all night long. Now, I don't like to wait. If you're contacting me over something, I should be able to get a hold of you, at least within the next 15 to 30 minutes. Don't leave a message like that and then make me have to wait to know what you want. So that kind of aggravated me, and actually it kind of worried me just a little bit. I mean, wouldn't it you? So, therefore, very first thing this morning when I got a minute, I called back. And it come to find out that there was a note that my triglyceride levels was like a 200 and I can't remember if they said a 59 or a 79, but it was somewhere in that range. And I needed not to be eating no good foods. Well, the standard American diet says good foods. No desserts, no sugars, no stuff like that. And I was like, okay. So I did my research. And in theory, it has been told that, or heart doctors has told people with high triglyceride levels to cut the saturated fat and to eat more whole grains and start a medication. Well, I can't even remember to take the medications that I got. So that's not an option to me. I'm not going to start no medication. If I can help it, I'm not starting no medication. So doing my research, I do believe that I can change those levels dramatically by next month. And hopefully I could be able to request another simple blood test done to see what my levels are. The reason I say this, there was a study done by the American Journal Clinical no, I'm sorry. I said that completely wrong. The American Journal of Clinical Nutrition. Okay, and within this study, they took 16 people. Okay, I know it's a low number, but they took people, not animals, not rats, not nothing like that, people. And all these people were overweight. Okay, not like morbidly obese or anything like that, but they were overweight. And they told them for 3 weeks, okay, they wanted them to eat like they normally ate, and they were going to add 1,000-calorie diet of simple carbs. And we're talking about like soda, gummy bears, and stuff like that. So for 3 weeks, they done this. They added 1,000 extra calories a day and the people were eating like they was normally eating before, but they added 1,000 extra calories of those type of foods. And they done that for 3 weeks, and within 3 weeks, they took them back and they tested them again. And when they tested them, they tested their their body weight. They got their body weight, and they also did the test on their liver, or the fat content of their liver. So the test results was kind of like mind blowing. Every one of them, okay, had increased their body weight by 2%. Every one of them. And then when they did the test on the liver, or the fatty liver, they increased their liver fat content by 27%. And that is just in 3 weeks. 3 weeks, guys. That's it. 3 weeks. So after this, okay, they took the 1,000-calorie diet away, the simple carbs, and they told them to eat like they carry on to eat like they normally did, but try to do just a little bit better. Just a little bit. Try what they thought that would make things a little bit better. And that is obviously taking away those type of carbs or those type of foods. So within 3 months, they brought everybody back. And by doing so, their levels, the fatty liver, dropped back down to normal. And they had lost weight. Okay? But in 3 weeks' time, it only took 3 weeks to cause all that disruption. Their triglyceride levels rose, they increased. They all had fatty liver, okay? It increased. And then their weight increased by just adding 1,000 calories of simple carbs a day. That's like amazing, right? I mean, that's kind of mind blowing. 1,000 calories. You eat a couple gummy bears, and fruit drinks or soda. A day for 3 weeks, and then it does that much to your system in return. So, exactly what kind of foods or what can raise your triglyceride levels? Well, for one, overconsumption of food, can raise them, of course. Refined carbohydrates, foods that are high in added sugars, meats that are high in fats. And then also, a major one too is excessive alcohol intake. And it is it has a very potent effect on your trig levels. And then, of course, lack of exercise. All of those things can, increase your trig levels. And in return, those high levels causes issues. And I had like one of those aha moments. Because I had an episode last week that actually kind of scared me. But I thought that it was more of a anxiety, or maybe almost like a panic attack. I couldn't figure out exactly what it was, but it kind of scared me. But then I got to thinking, well, if these levels are high, maybe that had something to do with it, because my chest hurt and my left arm hurt. But, I mean, it actually scared me so bad, I actually called my mother to come over. And she did because I didn't know what was going to happen. I felt weird, felt bad, and it would come and go, come and go. So she comes over and she elevates my arm and she puts pressure in the back of my rhomboids on my shoulder, and it relieved it. And every time she would do that, it would relieve it. So I thought, well, maybe I was flipping myself out. When I went to bed that night, I elevated my arm and it was fine. Then I thought maybe the next day that it must have been the way I slept the night before. They did that. Maybe I slept on it wrong. But prior to this episode, I felt my heart flutter a few days before. So I was like, I thought, well, maybe too much caffeine, you know? So I don't know. But by getting that call yesterday, and my levels are so high, maybe that's what it was. Maybe my body was saying, hey, stop, wait a minute here. You need to pay attention. Something's going on. So I was already diagnosed before with fatty liver. So with my trigs that high, that tells me I got to do something pretty quick. So what am I going to do? Well, this is my theory. For one, I'm going to do it without medication. And if my theory is correct, I don't need it anyway. So, what am I going to do? I figure if I take away all the sugars, the starches, the breads, take it completely away, and find recipes or create recipes that will replace my breads and stay away from all the starchy foods, the potatoes, cakes, ice creams. Of course, it ain't such a big deal for me to do that. But soda still has the same thing. And again, at the very, 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 very beginning of this, I fight the whole addiction of Mountain Dew. So, but if I take it away and I go into like the plant-based kind of lifestyle, I think that I can drop my levels a lot within 3 weeks. So if I go back next month, I just went to the doctor the other day, so it'd be about 3 weeks. So that's what I think. So going back to yesterday on Weightless Wednesday, I put 6 goals in place. And this will just go right along with that. Now, as far as the actual blood panel, I have not received it. The lab work, the whole workup sheet. I did ask them to put it in the mail, so I will get it, obviously, before I go back. So we will go over them. But we got a head start on the trigs being elevated. Okay? So remember, normal is 150 and below. Mine was in the high 200s. So I'll be able to get the exact count on that when I get it in the mail. But that's my theory. I think that I can go without the medication and lower those levels a lot by the time I go back by implementing my goals yesterday. And if you ain't seen that video, you need to go back to Weightless Wednesday and check out that video. If I implement those goals, and take those foods away, then I think I'm going to be all right. So let's see. Let's see what happens. And if you guys out there, have this issue, if your trigs are high, you got fatty liver, high cholesterol, you know, maybe you might want to try what I'm trying. Or stay tuned in to see what happens for me. And then you can learn from me. But I definitely am not going to go the medication route. That is my choice. I don't want it. I declined it. And I think I can go further this way, naturally. And the information that I collected from recommendations for different cardiologists of cut saturated fats and eat more whole grains and start a medication, I think that's just a disservice to anybody's health, really. But that's my theory. So, let's see, guys. Let's see what I can do to help me and to help you. So, guys, that's it. That's it for Theory Thursday. I got a report on my lab results. That's what I got. This is my theory. This is my plan. We'll see what happens. If you're new to my channel, make sure you hit the subscribe button. Okay, ding the bell so you can get all the notifications and you can find out what happens next. And while you're there, give me a thumbs up. Hit the like button. And guys, this is Becca, and you've been watching The French Fry Truth. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Guys, I got to put this out there, disclaimer. I am by no means a doctor. I am not a medical physician of any sort. I am not a nutritionist. If you are having problems, chest pains, your arms hurting, if you are going through any of this and your trig levels are high or you've got high cholesterol and you are worried, get your butt to a doctor. Okay? This is just my choice. This is what I'm doing. And I'm going to give you guys the results. So always, always, always follow up with your doctor. And don't take my word for it. Have a good one.